Yeah, sorry, I'm just moving something quickly. There we
Hi,
go.
have you been watching the convo
Hello.
so far?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. It's been a very intellectual, beautiful conversation. Everyone's been doing bits, man. You man are teaching me. I love it.
Is there anything that really triggered you in the first place?
Um, there was a lot. I can't lie, yeah. Like, I find myself sometimes really scared to look for information and to research stuff because I feel like I can easily get overwhelmed if I find out too many things. And like, it's all informative and it all helps me. But I know myself as an emotional being, I can also get a prejudice sometimes. So researching all of this triggered everything inside of me. Like, I felt every which way about so many things that I saw. It's mad.
So I was sharing about an acting student in my WhatsApp group chat, and she shared a post from a Black and ethnic minority school that in this time decided to offer a 3-hour Zoom session to Black creatives, so Black writers and directors. And she shared that it made her feel offended, angry, and left out. She said
Good.
that it's causing segregation, and actually now
Nope.
she is being segregated by her own race, and the fact that because she's white, she can't join. So now she said, I know how Black people feel. I know how you feel. How do you feel about that?
They said because you couldn't go onto Zoom. You know racism. You know slavery. You know colonization. You know abuse. You know people spitting on you. You know people telling you don't belong. That's what you know. Interesting. I feel like it's interesting that she had the confidence to even say that. Like, it takes a lot for someone to come out and blatantly say these statements. So that's very interesting. I think everything she said just didn't make sense to me. Like, in this society where there's such a disparity between the rich, the poor, minorities, and the majorities, and all the races and ethnicities, there are systems put into place to even the playing field. You actually have to put systems in place, and that's what she was speaking like. We're all on a level playing field. The way she's
Right.
speaking was like she's not getting the same opportunities as the Black people, but sis, you got bears. Like, you've got so many opportunities. They're countless. This is a little snippet of
Right.
something that could uplift us
Right.
and something that could help us right now in society. And also when I was like just thinking about the statements and everything she was saying, there are bursaries put in the world. Like, there are bursaries. What else? There's job seekers allowance. There's scholarships for disenfranchised individuals. Like, my thing is, yeah, so we should just get rid of all of that. Because if she lost her job and she didn't have any money and whatever, how would you expect to survive in society if no one is supposed to help you? Because all these things do are supposed to like level a playing field, when it can never be level though. It,
Yeah.
in, it's
You
supposed to
can't
level it
erase the
in.
past.
You can't.
And
You
also,
can't. And we
when
don't.
you have laws
Sorry.
like the 13th Amendment, as I say, you can't erase the
Hmm.
past. Like, there's still, it's just adapted racism or adapted slavery. I think that is. So one of the things that she did share, and I want to know how you feel if it's offensive to you, is the
Mm.
Met Police and stop and searches. This is a big thing that goes on in the UK, and stop and searches when the police can see that feel that there's something suspicious going on, stop you and search you for any form of violent object on you, just to prevent any crime going on. And she made it very clear that the police do their job professionally, that there's no such thing as racism in stop and searches, and the police are held up with this utmost respect of doing the right thing at the right time without any prejudice whatsoever. She went on to say that, and I actually want to quote what she said, because I
I'm gonna
did write
quote
it
it.
down.
I want a word for word.
I
I
write
want
it
a word
down.
for
It's fine. She
word.
said
Okay.
that if you're not innocent, then you don't mind stop and searches. There's no bias whatsoever. Most of the people on the street doing crime are the gang members, and those are the ones that they target. The handcuffs are only used if the person is aggressive and it's non-evasive. It is filmed, recorded on a system, and offered a written record to the person that's being searched. She said that they stop and search people that smell of cannabis, driving erratically, illegal number plates, checking car door handles at 3 a.m., shoplifting, and this is necessary because it saves stab victims. And if we if we criticize stop and searches, then the black on black crime will increase.
So many things there. So many things there. So many things there. Like, so many triggering things. Because first of all, I'm gonna start from the end to the top, but I can't remember everything. I'm just gonna say the things that struck a nerve. But first of all, black on black crime. What does that mean? Can someone please tell me? Because there's no white on white crime. There's no Asian on Asian crime. There's not. Right. It's just black on black crime. Why is that a category?
Right.
Why? Who put that out there? Because it's not fair.
From her perspective, there's a knife crime is associated with black people, and we cannot hide the fact that there is knife crime.
And no one is saying knife crime does not exist. I'm saying, how can you segregate a community and tell me that they are hurting each other and they're abusing each other, or they're trying to kill each other, but the world is trying to kill each other? Like, crime is crime. Why is crime not crime? Why is everyone else's crime, but black people is black on black? Because when white people go shoot up schools, it's not white on white crime, nah. When there's serial killers, it's not, nah. Just checking. And then when she was like, you can smell, how close are you to smell cannabis? How close must you be to someone to smell cannabis on them? Maybe my nose must be blocked on a 24-hour basis and I just cannot smell weed and everything. I mean, I can smell weed sometimes, I'm close enough. Like, I'm close enough to smell the weed. Like, so for me, how many people out there that just smell of weed? And maybe that's just me and maybe I don't know. But I feel like there's a lot of generalizations that she's using to categorize black people. You're saying all of these things that you have heard in society that are associated with black people. And then when you move to a black person, you can use all of these things that you have heard that have been associated to them to justify the reason why you are coming to approach them.
Yeah. And I want to add, because we've got stats, to add to that. There was a white Met police officer. The video can be found on BBC. Just search it in. She was accused of using force and through racism last month as she handcuffed a black man who was understood to comply to the stop and search. I watched the video. She asked him, can she stop and search him? He said yes. She then put her hand on him like this, and he said, please get off me. And the minute she goes, no, she got her handcuffs out and she went like that on him. So not only did he say, yes, I will, I'm okay with the stop and search, she didn't have to put her hand on him to say, get up then. She didn't have to make it so aggressive. So the minute she put that handcuff on him, he said, why are you putting handcuffs on me? Why are you doing this? All of a sudden, she's writing in her report, he was aggressive. But she lacks the knowledge and the wisdom to see what was my behavior that encouraged that aggression. And that's my issue. So my issue with the police, and we have statistics going on, because she made it seem that there's no bias whatsoever. So we came with some serious facts. Did you know, black people are more than 8 times likely to be stopped and searched by the police across the country? So to say that you don't see any division, to say that you don't see any white privilege is a problem. In the 12 months up until March 2019, there were 370,000, more than that, stop and searches conducted by the forces. So I need you to understand it is a prominent thing going on. It's not just a little thing, it's a huge thing. And of that, and I'm a very honest person, white people had the most stop and searches with 187 over that 1,000. Whereas black people had over 70,000 stop and searches. Now, the reason why that's going to be an issue for me, even if the white proportion is bigger than the black proportion, is the total number of white people in the UK is 87.2%, according to the census in 2011. And black African Caribbean, Black British is 3%. It is disproportionate. That's a problem, because we are just below half, and yet we only make 3% of the total population in the UK. That means most of the people that are Black are being searched in the UK. It's disproportionate. It doesn't make sense. Figures from 2017 to 2018 show that the Met police officers were 4 times more likely to use force against Black people than white people as a percentage of the population. These are statistics, okay? The chokehold that was used to kill George Floyd is also used by the British police. In 2017, 4 young men in the capital died after being restrained by the police. In one incident, witnesses reported that the officer knelt on the man's neck for 8 to 10 minutes, resulting in his death. These are facts. These are facts. You cannot deny the facts. There's an issue. There's an issue going on. British Black people are 9.7 times more likely to be stopped and searched by an officer than a white person. Yet we only make 3% of the total UK population, and we are 9.7 times more likely to be stopped and searched. There is a fundamental institutionalized racism going on that the Met Police, because she is in the Met Police, need to wake up and see. And I'm not saying you can't be a great person. I'm not saying that you can't be a great policewoman who has worked really hard to do the right thing. I'm saying because you are so blinded by the work you've done, you are not looking at the facts, because you told me I'm speaking on emotion and I'm bringing you statistics, okay? It is there, it is everywhere, okay? This is from the Equality and Human Rights Commission, a very reputable source. These are statistics that you need to learn. And when the Met Police take responsibility to educate themselves in what really goes on behind the scenes in their corporation, then things like racism and racial injustice stops. And then things like looting stops. And then a better relationship between the police and Black people starts happening. It starts happening. Because right now, we don't trust you. Right now, you are killing our men. Right now, you are the source of our pain. And there is no repercussion. There's no repercussion. That's the issue. The only reason, and people need to understand this, Derek Chauvin was only arrested because of the pressure that we put on the police and the governors, and worldwide pressure. If we did not put the pressure on him, he would not have been arrested. And they wanted to say third degree murder. They didn't even want to arrest the other 3 police officers that were on him. A man that was screaming, saying, "Mama." I spoke about the fact that we were in COVID. So many people have lost their mums. So many people see the unity of family. And that's probably why it touched people so much. Mama, mama. A man saying mama, a grown man saying mama, and that doesn't touch you to get off him. And then people don't even want to prosecute him, and they want to leave it out until it gets to a point when the whole world is enraged. And you tell me there's no such thing as police racism? I'm not here for it.
No, I hear that. I hear that.
Carry on.
No, I hear that. You were speaking some facts. Like, I love the fact that you've got all of this information in front of you and you're actually sharing all of this. And you said one thing about like the Met Police need to educate themselves. I promise you, more time they know what they're doing. I'm so done with people being ignorant at this point, because it's so selfish and it's so dangerous. You know what you are doing. No one needs to tell you killing people unjustly is wrong. It's, you know what you're doing. I'm done asking you. I'm done begging you at this point, because that's what we've been doing from slavery. All we've done is beg for, not even like, even when you beg for freedom, it's not to be the same as you. We just want to live. Is it that hard to beg for your, like, we want to live? Like you were saying, he was begging for his life on the floor there. But no, I think they know what they're doing. I think they know what they're doing. I think the narrative you spin helps your story. So they have a way of spinning a narrative that favors them. That's why the woman that was writing to you, she seemed so passionate and she believed everything she was saying. Because the narrative
She
that
said
she spins helps.
I was bad mouthing the Met Police, and I didn't even have these stats. All I said is I think there are some police that are racially profiling black men. So that I'm bad mouthing the police and it's disgusting, and that I don't have facts. So this is why I'm here, because I want to know: am I the only one who sees this? Am I the only one who feels this way? And sorry, I was listening. It really irritating, and I'm irate by the situation, and that's why we have to have this conversation, because people want to act like there's no racism in the UK and it's only in America. That is false. That is why people are tearing down the statues. And it's so funny. What's Prita Patel? What's the woman that came out to say, who spoke out against the statue coming down? Not once has she come out to say anything about Derek Chauvin or George Floyd, but she spoke about a statue of a man who was accused of being a slave owner, that on his boat carrying people from the Caribbean islands and Africa, so many people died in their feces, in their blood. People had to stay there. 10 to 20% of the slaves on that boat died because of the inhumane. Prita Patel, thank you, Raz. Prita Patel, thank you so much for saying that, yeah, we need to be held responsible for the fact that we're doing things against the country and it's just not right. But I need you to speak up about George Floyd. I need you to speak about all the men like Stephen Lawrence and people that have been racially profiled and are dying. I need you to do both. Keep the same energy.
Bro.
I don't mind you saying it about the others, but where were you then? Oh, now you want to speak? Oh, Boris now wants to speak up when he sees everyone coming for the statues. But I didn't see you then. I didn't see you say one thing. Not one thing. Now you want to, what are these people's names?
Because it's a threat. Because now we're a threat to them. Like, the reason why I feel like people don't speak out or they're scared, like, you're afraid of having a level playing field, in my opinion. Like, you're afraid of what could happen if you just gave us equality. Like, you're scared, so you feel like you have to demean and you have to push us down. That's what you want. Like, even Nigel Farage must have gone and been like, man, he said what
Taliban. Compared Black Lives Matter to the Taliban.
What the hell was colonization, sir? What was that? What was that, a party? Because no, I haven't listened. The definition of terrorism: the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims.
Then there are a lot of terrorists around, actually, in the modern world. If that's the definition, it's everywhere.
Ain't it?
With people in power. Jaga said, my friend that unfriended me was more concerned about lockdown being extended. I made it clear that protests will always override any form of pandemic. I do want to know, and Malloy, he said, a threat to their voting and political gain, because historically the Conservatives have held deeply tooted racist views. I'll shut up now and listen. Oh, deeply rooted. Thank you. And that's what it is. And we spoke about that. If you watch the 13th, I need you to watch 13th. It spoke about the fact that prison is a business. We've got Jay. She said, we've always been a threat. That's why it's Jamila. We've always been a threat. That's why they have oppressed us. We don't even want revenge. We just want equality. That's what they fail to understand. We don't want to take anything from you. We don't want to destroy anything you built. We want to be able to build our own. And
man said they built. We built. You said they built.
Well, I didn't want to go into that conversation.
They built. Anything you've built. When you came to pillage and grab people to come and help you build your country. And now you've used us so much. And it's mad. If you want to talk about the pandemic and stuff, I swear they were saying how people with visas that were supposed to be sent out, you extended their visas so they could die for people now. So they could die saving lives as well, couldn't they? That's what you use us for. We're disposable to you.
Ooh.
And That's the madness of it. You're mad at people wanting equality in a country that they were part of building as well. And first of all, I like what you guys were talking about when you were talking about the educational system, because really and truly, like, you guys, like, the English educational system in history, I learned a lot about Nazis. Yeah, I learned about a lot about Germany. In Germany, they teach the Nazi story as well, but they don't try to sympathize or like play it down. They try to keep true to the story. What I've learned about England and the way they teach things is like, apparently it's called being polite, like we're polite or we're soft or something like that. But they're smart. What you're doing is smart because you're
They
pushing your
manipulate
narrative.
history to push their own narrative, so that we in a way, I feel like they have not glorified, but they painted it very lovely. It's a story of slavery. It's not a truth of oppression.
Yeah.
It's a story of this is how you overcame this, and then you see all these books, and you can see the brown skin and the chain, but you don't see the pain, you don't see the hurt. But when you watch something like Birth of Nation in the 1990s era, then you see how they actually characterize the Black people as animals, animalistic in the movie itself, because they were so scared that we actually could be educated beings. And one thing I did want to just touch up on in terms of the education system, I have stats again, because what does she say? I don't work on stats.
She crazy,
okay,
girl.
I came all the way for her. Black people who leave school with A levels are typically paid 14.3% less than their white peers. Do you hear that?
Right?
You have A levels as a Black person. You went to the same school. I went to a grammar school that's you know, in A levels in Essex. Someone else could have gone to a different type of school, and it doesn't even matter the school you go to, because one thing I've realized is when God has a plan for you, God has a plan for you. Whatever grades you get, whatever grades you don't get, you can succeed regardless, right? And if they say that if I have A levels, the mandatory thing that I need to get into university, and I do well, no matter if I go to a private school, whatever, and I get all A stars, I still get paid 14.3% less than my white peers who may have gotten all C's. And that's not, I'm not trying to say that is the way it should be. I'm just trying to let you know that there's no equality. Another thing, Black workers with degrees earn 23.1% less on average than white workers. I need you to understand.
Wait, say that again.
These are statistics that you need to go and see.
You said I'm in debt for what?
23.1% less on average than white workers. Your name, my name is Omobolaji Oluwatosin Alabi. That is look, okay. That is my name. I'm born and bred Nigerian woman. If I put Omobolaji Oluwatosin Alabi, do you really think they're not going to judge me and say foreigner immediately? My name is judged. My name is judged. My color is judged. They look at me and they say, oh, she's going to be trouble. Oh, her hair's going to be a certain way. We're going to have reprimandment on her. Oh, she's going to do this. She's going to do that. They don't even care about the fact that actually you want to be an upstanding citizen and have a beautiful family. And that is why I'm so proud of John Boyega, because when you look at the criminal system, when he says things like, oh, Black men, protect your Black women, do what's right, what he's saying is you need... Hey, Jesus, don't come for my limo. You need to do what you need to do so that they can't use these things against you. And I know the system wants you to fail. I know that they are making crack cocaine, which is a Black man's drug, heavily penalized compared to normal cocaine, which is a white man's drug. And then when they say in America, oh, when you get a criminal as a Black person, you can't vote anymore. Do you understand how the system is built? But I need Black people, and this is the only thing I took from Candace Owens. The only thing that I can say I can take from her is let's do better. No, let's do better, because you are affecting your children. You are affecting your children. They watch you. They watch you. These statistics don't lie. So much is set up against us already.
But do you know what,
Stacey? So do you know what you need to understand? When the world is
Tell
not
me.
fair, what do you do? My mum taught me that you rise. My mum taught me that you've got to rise, because I can't change the system by not being in the system. Therefore, I'm going to educate myself, and I'm going to come back here and be the best I can be. And even if they don't want me, someone else is going to think, because they can't stop my destiny. But I refuse to be lower and let them hurt me and then not do what I'm meant to do. I refuse. I refuse.
Tell
Okay?
somebody. Yeah, I heard.
So yeah, you
Did
judge
they
me.
hear?
You judge me. You don't employ me for my name. But guess what? I serve a living Jesus Christ. Okay, and I'm a Christian. You
Spread
might
the
not be, and
gospel.
I understand that.
Spread the
But
gospel.
what my faith has taught me, and what I've seen is, no weapon formed me against me will prosper. The weapon will form, which means you will go through things, but you need to keep your faith. You might go through a fight. You might be racially profiled and things taken away from you, but you cannot lose the faith, because you are the voice, you are the face, and many people like you, and we're going to fight for you. And that's what we mean by George Floyd. It came to a head. He's not our martyr, but we're squaring up for him. He's not our martyr, but we're about to fight for Black Lives Matter, because we've had enough. We've had enough.
That's
Sorry,
one thing as
you
well.
go.
No, you were speaking facts. Like, honestly, I
Human.
loved everything. You have to be. That's what's mad. At this point, you have to be angry. Because there's nothing that will move them. There's nothing that will move anything in society unless I get angry about it. And then when I get angry, I'm an angry Black woman, or we're angry as Black people. Well, how do we get there? How we get there? There are stimuluses that light that anger. So how did we get there? Take what's the responsibility for the things that you've done to push us to where we are right now. Like what you said about the Candace Owens, what's I could give a damn
Candace
about her name.
Owens.
Ain't
She's
even in
a
my dictionary.
conservative activist who absolutely has been brainwashed to destroy her own people, and she's manipulated facts and figures that we also have, honey, that really show how manipulative your facts and figures were. And nobody called George Floyd a martyr. Let's be clear. And just because you have a criminal record doesn't mean anyone has the right to kill you. Let's be clear about that as well. So don't defame a person because you look down on them because you were given a better life. You do not know what it feels like to be brought up in the Bronx, where the system has been set against you, where you live in an impoverished crack den environment. And let me tell you one more thing for those that want to really be educated, right? When you have crack cocaine in your bloodstream, they take your baby away from you, and you're not allowed to have that baby. So that baby grows up in the foster care. I need you to understand that. Imagine being brought up in the foster care, being moved from different family to different family, and then you get the only family that you find are the gangs, because they're the people that really have your back at this point. The system has been built up this way. So let's understand that.
Literally what you were saying about even educating ourselves, I do generally agree with that. However, I do think there's like it's hard in terms of the environment that we're raised in, because I can say myself, I was raised with a lot of white people. Like, I went to a majority white school, my area's majority white, I dealt with racism myself, like, and you don't know what you're missing until you know what you're missing, if that makes sense. Until I was old enough to be like, nah, this, I can't let this run. Like, I'm not comfortable in this environment. Like, I have to remove myself from this environment and put myself around people that are like me and people that are like-minded as well. That's when I started to feel like, yes, I'm empowered enough to educate myself. And I think that's what's really interesting about telling us to educate ourselves in a society where there's not, the resources aren't like readily available. You have to go hunt for these resources. No, speak.
At first, I thought so too, but my cousin sent me something, and that just opened the barrage. It is available. You just got to know how to search it. And
I mean,
and I
like,
think,
as kids.
oh right, yeah.
I mean, like, starting from kids. Like, white people are empowered from childhood. Like, I'm talking, like, when you grow up, of course you have the like, there's loads of like, as I can't say I can't find resources, because I can, but I mean, like, from childhood, that's what I'm talking about. The way I grew up, from childhood, I didn't know how to feel confident enough to speak up about racism. I didn't feel just enough to speak up about it. And that's because the people around me made me feel like I was overreacting, or I shouldn't feel comfortable enough to speak about it or speak about injustice. It wasn't seen as injustice to them. Of course it wouldn't be. You don't get it. And that's what the system is. And that's why it's so hard sometimes when you grow up with people who are so eloquent in speaking about their truth, because you've been taught your truth from childhood. I've been taught your truth. And I can't relate to that.
We've been taught our truth. And you know what our truth is?
Say it.
Because when we slavery. So we've been taught that we were abused. Our ancestors were abused. We're lower than. We've had to fight our way through. That you don't understand the conditioning all of these things are putting on children. So we have been taught something. We've been taught that we're less than, actually, and you grow up with that. And then, like you said, when the Caucasian or white people are taught that how powerful they are as kings and queens, that conquered this and conquered that, they are then being taught this system of we are better, we are fighters, we are this, you are below us, and then it flows through. I love that, manipulated by design. Facts. Microaggressions have always have you questioning yourself. 100. We are prepared for life in a different way. We are told or shown very early on that we will have to work 10 times harder for the basics that our white counterparts are given. And you know what? And I need and that is it. But can I just say, let's do that. Let's do that, because I still want to be the best regardless. So if I'm gonna lead and I'm gonna impact that in my children, always work to be the best that you can, because there are going to be people that are going to be set to oppress you because there's something wrong in their heart. There's some heart root issues, and as long as you can work to overcome that and continue to fight your truth and be the face and the voice of an elevated generation, we're going to push them out eventually. But you cannot let them get to you. You cannot let them make you crumble. So if you give into that because of their lack of ability to educate themselves, that's going to be a problem. So I'm not saying that doesn't anger me, that we do have to work 10 times harder, but I'm saying, let's look at the facts. We do. When we do get there, how do we now change it? You know, and I'm glad that there are black politicians and things like that, people that are in place and have money and power, and that are governors and MPs that are black, because children need to see that. They need to see that they're not just going to be a dustbin cleaner. And the funny thing is, I'm going to go back to COVID. COVID made every single person that thought they were important to a business realize how unimportant they really were, because the people that were important were the truck drivers, the dustbin cleaners, the street cleaners, the people that work at all these Tesco's and supermarkets, the healthcare professionals. You have to lower yourself in order to see that you aren't that important, because when the going was tough, we were all at home. So don't you dare look down on somebody else, because it's those people that didn't have that amazing education that kept your country running. How dare you? How dare you? And then for Boris to not want to give their family equal rights until we spoke up, and you tell me there's no racism in this country. You tell me, and it's not even about it being racist. They don't think about you. You are nothing to them. So it's not even that they don't like you. They don't even think to care about you. That's a problem.
That hurts differently.
Lamb said a big issue is white people teaching their white children to not see color. Can you explain that? Oh, yeah.
Have you not heard? You must have heard.
I've heard.
They're mad.
I've heard. And you know what? I want her to. Okay, you right, and I'm gonna say, I read something and it said it is disrespectful to say I do not see color. And I get your intentions, and I don't look down on that, because I know that you're coming from a good place. But I need you to understand, everyone was built uniquely, and it's disrespectful to minimalize that uniqueness of that skin color. They were chosen to be a specific color for a reason. It is unique. So yes, I see your color, but I also see the fact that we are united. And your uniqueness equates to my uniqueness, because it's actually very unique to be white. It's very unique to be brown in terms of Asian. It's very unique to be black. It's very unique to be dark. It's very unique to be pale. It's unique. So how dare you say you don't see color when that makes them them?
it doesn't even make sense to me. Like, it doesn't make sense because, as you said, we're all created individually and we're all special. We're all, first of all, if you don't see color, then what are we doing? Like, if we're not all different and we're not all individual, like, what are we doing in this world then? It doesn't make sense. I was gonna say God, I was gonna take it to like a Christian place, but even just like life wise, just life, we're not equal. So clearly there are specific things in us that make people act differently towards us. So like race, color, a big part of it. To say you don't see that means you don't see my worth, you don't see my struggle, you don't see my pain. You don't want to relate to me. You don't want to build relationship with me. What you want to do is be comfortable in the position that you're in. You don't want to come to understand me as a person. And that's not, you can't teach that to kids. You can't teach kids to be unempathetic, because that's what you're saying. You're saying don't see them for who they are. See them for what you want them to be. And that's not fair.
And just to add to that, you don't see when I'm being unfairly stopped and searched because you choose to ignore it because you don't see color. So you fail to see that actually it's racially profiling. And you spoke about racism. So what do we do again? We go to our fact sheet, Hunty. Racism facts. Let's be very, very clear. In 2018 to 2019, there were over 103,000 hate crimes recorded by the police in England and Wales, an increase from 2017 and 2018. The majority of the hate crimes were race hate crimes with 76%, not just Black, Asians too. How about that? That's a whole nother conversation. And my friend Raz is coming on next week, and we're going to talk a little bit about that because we've seen what's gone on with the girl. Did you see what was going on there? That was really sad as well.
Yeah.
The racist things that were going on. She's passed away, and no one wants to actually investigate what's happening. Her name is Shukuri Abdi. She was a student killed by a racial attack. Her family claimed that the young refugee was being bullied at school and believed they're being denied the truth about the last weeks of her life. She was being bullied by the students. I also want to end it by saying 30% of that 76% of race hate crimes were violence crimes against people. So not only did you segregate me, verbally abuse me, you were physically violent. 36% of that was physical violence. Black people in London were also twice as likely to be fined for lockdown breaches during COVID. Black people are 12% of the capital's population in just London, okay? And they made up 1/3 of the arrests during lockdown for breakage of rules. Asians in London were also had 26% more likely to be fined than the white people. Do you understand what I'm saying? Nothing is fair.
If I start, I will never end. It's okay.
What did Alabi say? Everyone's laughing. I don't know, but yeah. So I just to clarify, we have statistics, we have facts. If you want me to send them to you, I did it late at night. Don't judge my handwriting. You take it as it is. You accept me or you don't accept me. Goodbye. I don't mind. But this has been so aggravating to have a fellow actor in my class tell me that there's no such thing as white privilege, tell me that she now feels how Black people feel. That was so disrespectful to me. How dare you tell me to my face you now feel the way a Black person feels because they had a 3-hour Zoom session created and catered for Black writers and directors. When I have been told I will never be the Angelina Jolie of Tomb Raider, I will never be the woman in Titanic, I will never be in these roles because I'm not what is deemed as marketable. I can only be good enough for people that are Black that write their scripts. I can only be good in a slave movie or a police brutality movie, anything catered to black. That's all I'm good for. I'm not good for going up for roles that just look at my skill. Because to so many people, this is ugly. This doesn't sell. But they are still looking for Madeline. We are continuously showing that white lives are worth more than the ethnic
I was
minority.
gonna say that. But did we have time? Because when you spoke about that that young lady that that hate crime and she passed away, and I was like, but Madeline McCann's everywhere still. It's okay. It's okay. Because I can't. I'm tired. It's true. Like, you know what they've been saying. Like, I am actually tired. I'm actually so tired because I will scream and scream and scream, and it's like the littlest part. They will hear like the littlest part of my pain. That's all you will be able to You won't understand, but that's all you hear, and it's frustrating. And Black people do get tired, and it hurts. It's disheartening. But I guess that's how they win then, when you dishearten us.
So, what do you think we can do as we round up to invite change, and also how do we forgive people like that girl in my acting class who was so disrespectful to do it? And she said, the guy in the central part, the guy with the dog, he was a better poster boy than George Floyd for the Black Lives Movement. I think that's all very disrespectful.
Everything she said.
I don't know how to have a conversation with her anymore, because she was not willing to be open to listen. She belittled every experience I had, because I personally went through a racial experience where I was walking to Tesco and a car stopped. White men were in the car. They wound down their windows and they threw water on me. They called me nigger and they drove off. And let me tell you something. I had my makeup on. Okay, I was looking cute. So for you to mess up my face, you people want trouble. So I was already, upset. I was upset, but I've never even thought about it. It's so funny. I've had so many racist things done to me, even going to Chelmsford County High School for Girls, where so many people have now signed a protest against what's going on in the school, because a lot of the teachers have been called out for being racist, especially to Asians and Blacks. Can you imagine going to a school when they're racist and now they're trying to silence it? It's a big thing going on. I'm going to talk about it next week.
Man said, can you imagine? Don't get me started on my school experience. People were being spat on.
But do you feel like I just ignored it. I didn't let myself, I ate it. I just put it on myself. I hated myself. And I was like, why are you so ugly? Why is your nose so big? Because if your nose wasn't big enough, wasn't that big, they wouldn't hate you. They wouldn't call you and say you're ugly and get out of our school. We don't want you in our school, ugly. They wouldn't throw water at me and call me the N-word. So I was like conditioned to start looking at myself as less than and start questioning, why was I born the way I was born? But then I got to a point where I was like, I'm done. I am so done feeding into your narrative. Goodbye. And in that same year that they bullied me, I said, what's up? And they had to stop because they realized I wasn't going to take it anymore.
This is the thing. Like you were saying, I don't know whether my friends are still on here on the live, but I've got so many, well, not so many, but there are a couple of very, very huge stories that happened in high school where there was a poppy incident, and a group of Muslims apparently, allegedly, were burning poppies, and then all the white kids in my school decided to get together on Facebook and was like, let's bomb them, let's kill them all, let's ruin them, let's do this. Honestly, to literally the countries, to the Middle East, they were like, bomb them. And then there was one Asian girl, she was in year 7 at the time. I was sure I'm in year 10 at the time. And there was someone that ripped off her headscarf, and they spat on her, a hijab, sorry, and they spat on her. And why was it, that the teachers in this school did nothing? Me and my friends said, okay, if you're this confident, do it in person, innit? So we printed out their statements and everything they were writing on Facebook, and we said, we're going to deal with you in person. So what's up? And what's up? Say something. The white kids were like, but you're black, you're not Asian. Like, why is this an issue for you? And
It's a humanity issue. I care
took
because I'm
me
a
out.
human.
It took me out. I said, there's hate in your heart. You are actually fueled on hate. How can you not care when people are wishing death on people? Like, you're spitting on people, wishing death on people, and you're asking me why I care. And then the teachers in the school decided to get me and my friends. There was like three of us, three black girls that decided to speak up and say something. They got the three black girls out of all the white kids that were moving mad, and they were like, we're going to exclude you, and for your own protection, we're going to remove you from the environment for your own protection. I was
When
like,
you were
no.
speaking up for someone
When we were
else who
speaking
was
up,
being
we didn't fight.
bullied.
We didn't fight. We didn't put up no hands. We just came with energy. Like, it's for you. We're doing it for your safety. We were like, I'm not going anywhere. For my parents to ask me questions about why am I not in school, I said, I'm not leaving. We all said we're not leaving. What are you going to do about it? And then they were like, fine, we can't have you in the classes then, but we're gonna have to. We did no work that day. Oh my gosh, we did no work. We were walking around. I was flabbergasted that day. I was so shocked and taken aback that the people who are put to protect us in general in the school, in this institution, wanted to remove like the little bit of positivity that we were trying to do.
If you
Just
have
a
any
little bit of
stories,
it.
also let us know. Write them down. We want to know if you went through anything as well. Stacey, I would be irate. I would be so irate if I went through that. All these things are, I can't even believe it. But as we're closing, because I don't want, Lamb said systematic racism right there. That's horrific. The black kids lost out on the education because behavior from the white kids roll. T and S, it has been magical. Thanks for a progressive topic / discuss. Speak soon. Oi, oi.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, as we round off, as we end, do you have anything that you want to say, Stace?
I don't have much I want to say, actually. There's nothing that comes to mind. No.
You said a lot. It's okay.
Yeah, I've said a lot.
But you watched the whole thing. It's been great. I want to end by just stating a few facts again. That's how I want to end it, because like I said, yes, go.
Can I just say something? I want to say thank you to everyone that was commenting and everyone that said something and all your opinions and stuff. Like, it was actually amazing. You man were bosses in the comments. Like, I really love it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Jay. Her name is Jamila. She goes to the school. Well, she was part of the conversation, and it really hurt. And do you know what? Because she has a son as well, I could only imagine how irate it could have been for those that have children to protect, where mothers like that are raising children who say there's no such thing as white privilege and racism and things like that. So it's not going to be an easy fight for anyone. We need to educate ourselves so that we can do better for our children. It's about the younger generation. But anyway, I just want to just state certain things again so that you know. Thank you, Raz. Raz is going to be on.
Thank you, Phil, as well. Thank you, Raz.
Phil. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, I am Rich Black. I don't know who you are.
Hey, I'm Black.
Thanks, guys. So interesting, insightful. So I'm just going to read this again. Okay, so you know, Black people who leave school with A levels typically get paid 14.3% less than their white peers. Black workers with degrees earn 23.1% less on average than their white workers. In 2018, there were over 103,000 hate crimes. 76% of those were race hate crimes, and 36% of that 76 was violence against the other. Okay, where's my other sheet? Just so that everybody can see that I'm not crazy. And plus, look, I studied really hard for this, so everybody must hear it again. Okay. Another thing, Black people are more than 8 times likely to be stopped and searched by the police across the country. Figures from 2017 to 2018 show that the Met officers were 4 times more likely to use force against Black people than white people as a percentage of the population. Black British people are 9.7 times more likely to be stopped and searched by an officer than a white person. There are 87.2% of white people in the UK, and there are 3% of Black people, African people, Caribbean people, Black British in the UK. Do these statistics make sense? Does it make sense? Are they proportional to what we see? And I want to thank you on that.
Thank you guys, man.
You
Thank
are
you.
not reading out my comments. Let's see some of your comments. Sorry. Let me see. Facts. White people are not more worthy than us. No one is worthy than anybody. At the end of the day, we need to stop acting like we have a point to prove to these people they are not better than us. Of course not. Thank you so much. Thank you. So those are the statistics. And that's why I wanted to end with that, because it's there. Jeff Bezos was told that he shouldn't be, let me see what he said again. He said, I was placing an order with your company when I discovered your statement of support for Black Lives Matter. Pledging your support for a bunch of worthless N-word will ruin your company. Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy said, there's a ton of women in the room, but I don't see enough color. When I show up on set, I would like to see the crew look like the world that I walk around in every day. I need you to understand, we're in a fight. I need you to educate yourself, because you are the future. You are the people teaching your children, and you don't want them to carry last, as Nigerians say, which means you don't want them to straggle behind, because we're moving forward and we're going to leave you. We're going to leave you, and you need to keep going. So you need to educate yourself. You need to educate your white friends or people that don't understand. You need to have patience and understanding. You need to have statistics. You need to watch the 13th. You need to watch When They See Us. Education is power. We are in a fight, and it doesn't stop with talks to toast. Kill them with class. Let them know we're not barbaric animals. Let them know that we're not this aggressive stereotype. And when we want to be aggressive, we can be, because everybody's entitled to
it is what it is. It actually is what it is.
But let them know, because the worst thing is to shun them in their ignorance instead of educating them in their ignorance, because at the end of the day, it's all about changing them. I want the world to change because I want my children to be happy. I want my children to go to the best schools. I don't want my children to go through what I went through. I don't want to live in America one day and be scared that my son or daughter may never come back. So on that note, thank you so much for watching Talks with Toes. Stacey, Chanel, you have been amazing co-host.
It's been a movie, fam.
I've loved it.
You've been great. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone else.
Lamb Bennett, I have loved just speaking to you and seeing your just perspective and your education and what people can do. There's so much out there. Just educate yourself. Lamb, if you want to put the link that they can read certain things, because I know that's what you wanted to say. And then to my cousin, Tayo Fason, I just want to say I love you so much. It was her graduation today. And imagine what's going on in America, that she had to graduate online. I can't imagine how it feels for her at her age to see everything that's going on. It's not about us. It is not about us. And to everyone that commented, watched, shared, supporting us, grateful. I am so
long.
grateful.
Thank you. Thank you for sticking around.
So that's
Real
it.
ones.
So you can say your bad. Wait, we need music.
You made me sick.
Hey, we're about to leave. Hey, we're about to leave.